Hello everybody and welcome back to Marvel Rivals. In this one we're going to go over Cloak and Dagger. That's right, we got a 2-for-1 special in this one, so let's just get right into it. Dagger's primary attack is called Light Force Dagger. Unleash a bouncing Light Force Dagger to damage enemies and heal nearby allies. This ability is actually pretty cool, but it also has a cool effect where you don't have to aim that hard. So if you're like me and not the greatest at aiming, this character might be for you. When you're looking at an enemy or an ally, you will see a reticle appear when you're aiming somewhat close to them. For enemies, it will be a red one, and for allies, it will be white. Clicking the button, as long as that reticle is up on the character, it will hit them. As you can see, it's pretty generous most of the time, and bullets will actually curve really far out of the way to hit people. When hitting an enemy or an ally, you'll see a big light circle appear around them. This will actually heal any allies in that big radius. So just keep in mind, if people are clumped up, you don't need to be bouncing back and forth between a bunch of different people because they will all get healed. I wouldn't say this is secret, maybe just hard to tell because the light effect is really hard to see sometimes, especially when in combat. So just keep that in mind. Dagger's alternate attack is called Dagger Storm. Launch a volley of daggers, creating a healing over time field to the impacted area. This ability is pretty self-explanatory. When clicking the button, she will shoot a dagger. When that dagger hits a spot, it will blow up into a healing area. Anyone standing in that area will get healing over time. This healing is actually pretty decent, and combined with her basic attack, you can do a lot of healing very quickly. So if you're a tank and you see one of these things, try to stay in it. It's pretty nice. Her next ability is called Veil of Light Force. Deploy a Veil of Light Force to heal allies upon touch and grant them a healing boost. This ability is also pretty self-explanatory. You push the button and she will shoot a wall of light in that direction. If any allies are hit with that wall of light, they will gain a boost of healing. Use this when you need that little extra oomph to keep someone alive. Dagger's last normal ability is called Shadow's Embrace. Switch to Cloak. Pretty self-explanatory. You push the button and you become Cloak with a brand new set of abilities. Speaking of abilities, Cloak's main attack is called Dark Force Cloak. Inflict continuous damage to an enemy. This basic attack is very similar to Scarlet Witch's, where you just kind of look at someone, hold the click button, and he will latch onto someone dealing continuous damage. Note that you have to be kind of close for it to actually connect, but once you connect, you can see it does continuous good damage. Cloak's alternate ability is called Dark Teleportation. Enshroud nearby allies in the Dark Force dimension and granting them phased, making them untargetable and invisible to enemies and granting them a movement boost. This ability is actually really unique and can come in clutch in very specific times. Pressing the button, Cloak will make a giant circle. Any allies in that circle will immediately become cloaked and go into the phased state. This means they are immune to all damage and can't be targeted for about 1.5 to 2 seconds. Do note that if any allies get phased and then do something like basic attack or use any ability whatsoever, they will immediately get knocked out of the phase. So in very important situations, you might just have to hope that allies aren't doing anything either. If you are in a team, make sure you call out when you do this so people have at least a slight reaction time to stop what they're doing. Cloak's E ability is called Terror Cape. Deploy a Veil of Dark Force to damage enemies. Upon touch, apply Blind to narrow their sight and Vulnerability to amplify damage received. This ability works a lot like Dagger's wall ability, except it is a dark version of it. Pressing the ability, Cloak will throw out a wall of darkness that moves forward. If any enemies are hit by it, they will get hit with blindness, making it so they cannot really see that far ahead of them, and they will get this red glow around them. This makes it so they take more damage for a period of time. This is a good ability if you're trying to help out someone or you're just getting flanked and you need to do more damage quickly. Cloak's last normal ability is called Light's Embrace. Switch to Dagger. Pressing this button, you swap to Dagger. Pretty self-explanatory. One thing I do want to point out, now that we got all the abilities covered except for the ultimate, is they all actually run on separate cooldowns. Meaning you can use all of your abilities as Dagger, swap over to Cloak, and use equivalent ability again. So just know that your alternate fire isn't tied same cooldown for both characters. Cloak and Dagger's ultimate ability is called Eternal Bond. Perform 3 rapid dashes, healing allies and damaging enemies along the path. Like I was saying, this ultimate ability is shared by both Cloak and Dagger, and the only ability that has the exact same cooldown, aka ultimate charge. Pressing the button, Cloak and Dagger will unite and dash forward, dropping a bunch of dark and light goo on the ground. They dash in whatever direction you're looking and pause for a short time before you allow to look to a new direction. When allies stand in the goo, they get healing per second. While enemies stand in the goo, they get damage per second. Note that you can actually dash back and forth if you want to, and these do stack. So if you just dash back and forth 3 times and someone stands in the goo, they will get 3 times as much damage or healing from being in it. Just remember that this goo hurts you if you're on the enemy team. The amount of times I've seen a teammate just run into this goo and then stand in it and then wonder why they died is kind of crazy, considering it gets used a lot and it can cover a large area. Just keep that in mind. If the goo looks slightly red, don't touch it. Cloak and Dagger have one team-up ability with Moon Knight called Lunar Force. Cloak and Dagger can inject light and dark energy into Moon Knight to create a light and dark realm where Moon Knight can become invisible. When Cloak and Dagger and Moon Knight are on the same team, Moon Knight gets a new ability. Cloak and Dagger don't have to do anything except exist on the same team as them in order for this ability to work. In my opinion, this ability is cool, but also a little lame, mainly because it does turn him invisible for a short amount of time. However, the enemies can still see the bubble, so they know the general area he's in for being invisible. So while it is an invisibility, everyone knows where he is. Like, come on. And that is everything you need to know about Cloak and Dagger. What do you guys think about Cloak and Dagger? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you learned anything or enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as it really does help out the channel. I got a bunch of other Marvel Rivals content, so make sure to check that out if you want to. If not, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.